The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Community safety and more on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to a special edition of Triad Today, coming to you from the beautiful Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. Now I say special because over the next half hour we're going to focus on and salute and recognize and appreciate some of the folks that work behind the scenes to improve lives and quality of life in Greensboro. And we're going to start out talking about economic development and do it with a very special guest. First-time visitor to the show, Marshall Yandel, and fellow Spartan. Good to see you on that. Manager of Economic Development for the City of Greensboro. Thanks for coming, seriously.
Thanks for having us.
Tell us about some of the exciting economic development projects announced by the City of Greensboro. Give me a couple examples.
In late 2021, we had the Toyota battery project announced, and then a few months later we had Boom, and since that time we've been on a roll, really, with a lot of different economic development projects. And so we had recently announced Marshall Aerospace at the airport. That's a C-130 MRO group that refurbishes C-130s. They're investing $50 million in our community and hiring at least 240 some odd jobs.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of good jobs. You guys are really doing great work in bringing in the companies. And I'm wondering, you know, is this something when you're doing, help me understand, when you're doing an economic development deal, is this something that you and your staff, you say, well, we're doing this alone? Or do you have partners that you work with? What kind of process is it?
No, economic development is a team sport, really. So we have a very small office at the city, just 3 of us. So the City of Greensboro works with economic development partners. The primary one is the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce. So the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce works on the recruitment and retention projects for the city, as well as do the outward marketing for the city and the county for economic development purposes. So it's really a team sport. We work with a lot of different partners.
Some of the folks at home might be saying, well, wait a minute, Marshall, you're talking about this economic development stuff, but now how does all this impact on me and my family?
The projects that we work on, we make sure that those are livable wage jobs. So if the company is looking for incentives, part of what we say is that you have to be at least the average wage of Guilford County.
Right.
And so these are higher paying skilled jobs that we're working to recruit for the area.
Yeah, and that helps everybody in the short term and the long run. Now, I know that in your line of work, one thing I do know is that sometimes things have to stay confidential for a while when you've got a prospect or whatever. Anything that you can share with us that's not, or just describe anything coming up, anything that's not confidential you can mention that might be in the wind?
Well, you know, we are working with the Greensboro Chamber on a lot of different projects. So there's a lot of activity right now since those larger wins that we had a year or so ago. So activity is definitely up. We hope to have more projects make decisions to locate here in Greensboro over the next few months. So,
and people who are businesses, small business, large business, they might be watching this saying, hey, that's great, you're doing all this stuff for the future and you're bringing in jobs, but I've been here for a while with my business. What do you guys do in the City of Greensboro to support and work with existing businesses?
Again, we work with our partners on that, so we can leverage more by working and partnering with different groups. So again, the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce launched Greensboro. We also work with the Nussbaum Center and other groups that help to support small businesses or growing businesses to get them to the next level.
Right, and I'd like, before time runs out, I want to find out what you think is gratifying about your job. I mean, because you know, you're so busy doing these things and bringing in jobs and all this. I mean, how would you, and I'm putting you on the spot, I know, but what do you get out of this?
Well, I mean, it's a very gratifying job to know that you're helping to recruit companies that are making a large impact in our community, but like I said earlier, hiring folks at a livable wage and changing folks' lives.
Yeah, really helping to improve quality of life all the way around.
Absolutely.
Man, I really appreciate what you're doing. And I want to put up on screen just a general website, greensboro-nc.gov, and I hope people will go to that for all sorts of information about what's happening in the city. Marshall, I hope you come back sometime.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for all you do.
All right, thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
When storms hit, we're here for you. With new grid technology that can reroute power to avoid outages, and better communication to keep you in the know. And as we transition to a cleaner energy future, we'll still be here for you, keeping your costs down even as we work to expand renewables and explore new energy sources. We're Duke Energy, and we're building a smarter energy future for you.
Need help buying food? Everyone needs help sometimes. Food Nutrition Services may be able to help you buy food and free up your money for other expenses, such as utilities and medicine. To receive F&S assistance, households must meet income limits. You may be able to get assistance even if you own a home, car, land, property, or have a retirement plan or money in the bank. Second Harvest Food Bank of Northwest North Carolina team members can help you with the application process over the phone. To receive help or if you have any questions, call 336-422-7758.
Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today is now streaming on WFMY Plus, available free on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. Back now on Triad Today, this special edition where we are saluting and recognizing some of the organizations and agencies that help to improve lives in the city of Greensboro. And we want to talk about Guilford Works for just a second. And we might as well do that with a person who knows all about it. Danielle Harrison, Executive Director of the Workforce Development Board for Guilford Works. Good to see you.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
For folks that might not know, just describe for us what Guilford Works is all about and what's the mission.
Sure. So we are one of 22 workforce development boards across the state of North Carolina, and we provide services in Guilford County. And those services entail workforce and educational opportunities, as well as connections to community resources. Our primary clients are employers and job seekers.
You mentioned services. Give me an example of a service that you might offer.
Sure. And so we have two career centers, two comprehensive career centers, one located in High Point as well as Greensboro. And so our job seekers can enter our career centers and apply for job opportunities there. In addition to that, we have talented staff who can assist a job seeker with any educational and/or training opportunity and connect them to that training provider.
Now, also, I want to circle back to something you mentioned about employers. It's one thing to be helping folks to get training and to be ready for a job, and that's great. What do you do for and with employers?
Absolutely, and so I want to just start this part off by saying that we are the first workforce development board in our region to have a registered adult apprenticeship program.
Wow.
And so that is one of the main programs that we can offer to employers. And so if they are willing and are interested in becoming an employer partner with our adult apprenticeship program, we can assist them there. And in addition to that, we offer training grants. And so we have an incumbent worker training grant that employers can apply to, and they can receive up to $20,000. There's a $60,000 lifetime cap, and we can assist them as they upskill their workforce.
What are the current trending jobs in Guilford County?
Sure. We have roughly 35,000 job openings presently, and some of those training jobs are healthcare, registered nurses, to be exact. We have retail sales. We also have hospitality, restaurants. In addition to that, we have instructors and other library and educational type of jobs available.
I want to ask you something that you might have just answered, but maybe not. There might be a variation of this, because I want to ask you about what's in demand in terms of training programs. Tell me about that.
So there is some correlation between what is trending as far as jobs are concerned, as well as the training programs, especially within our healthcare market. Our healthcare jobs, particularly healthcare technicians and practitioners, those training programs are in high demand. And in addition to that, we have our heavy and tractor, trailer, truck driving programs, which are very in demand as well.
So look into your crystal ball and tell me, 10 years in the future, what kind of jobs are going to be projecting? What job sectors are we looking at?
Absolutely. Artificial intelligence. That is definitely in demand. We see and hear about that on the news, and we see jobs increasing in that area. And in addition to that, green and clean energy, those types of jobs will be in demand, and we're projecting an increase there.
Yeah, already getting ready for it too, the way you're sort of helping people train and move toward those areas. I think that's great. Up on screen, I want to put this up there for people to watch and look at. Guilfordworks.org is the main website, guilfordworks.org, and I hope you will check that out. Danielle and her group doing so much to get people trained and ready for the job force, and thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you as well.
We'll be right back after this.
Banking is like going for a swim. You don't need all the complicated stuff, but you don't want to feel exposed either. At Truliant, we give you just what you need, so you can manage your money on the go or stop by a branch whenever you need to. It's all about having options, while also keeping life simple, with low rates, free financial advice, and friendly faces. So check out Truliant. We have just what you need.
You know, it's hard to believe the Safe Sober program has been going strong for over 30 years.
And over 600,000 students have made the pledge to stay safe and sober on prom night. You know, Griff, it's had a huge impact on our community.
Yeah, you're right, David. And now we're making sure the message continues year-round.
So everyone can join us in supporting our students.
Learn more and take the pledge at safesober.com, sponsored by Daggett Schuler.
Veterans, when you're struggling, soon becomes later, becomes someday, becomes when. Don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Back now on this special edition of Triad Today as we talk with folks who are helping to improve the lives of folks in Greensboro. And we turn to a friend of ours who's been on the show before. We welcome her back. Michelle Kennedy is Director of Housing and Neighborhood Development for the City of Greensboro. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Jim.
Now, I was reading an email from you, and I think Carla sent this as well, and you had some language in there called permanent supportive housing. Okay, and that sort of went by me for a second. I want to understand this. You said that the state, that Greensboro is kind of a leader in this. So what is that, and why are we a leader?
So permanent supportive housing is really this notion that if you move people into housing, whatever their issue is, and you make that housing permanent instead of shelters or transient type of housing opportunities, their outcomes will be better. They will stay in that housing longer, their health will become better. It's really a national best practice for ways to house people experiencing homelessness. And Greensboro is one of 3 cities in North Carolina really moving forward in the expansion of permanent supportive housing.
Right. Now, you like to say that home buyer assistance programs are critical to growing, I'm going to use your words, generational wealth. So again, let's try and understand what you mean by that.
Yeah, so I'll use myself as an example, right? My first house, my parents gave me the down payment for it.
Okay.
So that's something that a lot of people don't have. So if you're someone who doesn't have the benefit of your family being able to help support you in building for most of us, single greatest source of wealth, your house, then home buyer assistance programs help people become first-time home buyers. And we know that wealth is typically passed down from generations.
Well, now, how are the city's assistance programs stabilizing housing and neighborhoods? How would you assess that?
You know, part of it, it's a two-prong approach, right? On the one hand, we're helping individuals start to build their individual wealth, start to build their individual home ownership opportunities and things like that. And on the other end of the spectrum, we're really strengthening communities, because when you start to stabilize substandard housing, when you start to provide more opportunities for home ownership, the whole community gets stronger.
Now, what are these community land trusts that you were telling me about? Again, I was reading an email from you. Does this result in additional housing, or what do you mean with these land trusts?
So land trusts can be both. They can be rehabbed housing that already exists or new houses that are being constructed. But really what it's about is affordability. When the city invests money in housing, typically there's about a 20-year affordability period. But at the end of that 20 years, that housing may go back to market rate, which is unaffordable for many folks. In a land trust model, there's a 99-year affordability period. So it really allows the opportunity for housing to be made and stay affordable forever.
What kind of projects or programs do you have in the works that are coming up maybe that could help people at the lower income spectrum?
You know, one of the things I'm really excited about is we've developed a mobile tool lending library. For a long time, if you had a code violation, your yard was overgrown, we issued you a notice of violation for that. We didn't stop to consider maybe you don't have a lawnmower. So now we have a mobile tool lending library where anyone who's a resident of the city of Greensboro can borrow the tools they need
Really?
for minor home repairs for free.
Now, I don't want to get too much into the minutiae of this, but how does that work? I mean, if I'm identified, or you've helped me identify a needle lawnmower, is it difficult to get that?
It's not. Our code enforcement department really oversees the program. They can get tools out to you within 24 hours typically. We have two 16-foot trailers with about 300 tools on each trailer, so we can assist a single individual or an entire neighborhood.
That's just great. Yeah, I can see in your eyes you really like what you're doing, and what do you get out of this? I mean, what kind of gratification?
You know, to me, housing is one of the core things for any society, right? And I think that everybody deserves access to safe, decent, affordable housing. And being able to be part of that work is really gratifying. And it really makes me happy to see the improvements across our city because of the work that our department and many other departments do. So I'm happy to be part of it.
Like you said, it impacts everything, and healthcare and nutrition and all the different things that spin off of being able to have a shelter,
Absolutely.
I tell you, thanks for everything you're doing. You're doing great work. And up on screen, the general website, greensboro-nc.gov. Please check that out for more information about what's going on in the city of Greensboro. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.
We'll be right back.
Fly local, fly easy, fly PTI.
Are you looking to jumpstart your future in the fast-paced, rapidly growing food industry? In Second Harvest Food Bank's Providence Culinary Training Program, you'll learn the craft and art of cooking, plus business and management skills, science and nutrition, and essential life skills. Providence Culinary Training has helped hundreds of individuals just like you launch successful culinary careers. There's no reason to wait to turn your passion for food into an exciting career. Check out the upcoming class schedule on our website at providencews.org.
Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you to catch my column Longworth at Large and Yes Weekly every week. It's available throughout the Triad, or you can go online, yesweekly.com. Back now in this special edition of Triad Today, as we salute and recognize and spend some time with the folks that work behind the scenes to help improve quality of life for so many folks in Greensboro. And we do that now with a special guest, Letitia McNeils, Manager of Community Safety for the City of Greensboro. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, what is this Office of Community Safety and what's the mission?
So the Office of Community Safety is a relatively new office within the city. We started in September, and our goal is to help enhance public safety in our city by utilizing community voice and collaboration with our public safety entities.
Now, what are some of, give me a specific objective, maybe something to help me understand. What are you going for?
So one of our primary objectives is innovation really in enhancing alternative calls for service. So if someone calls 911 and they may have some sort of a crisis going on, providing ways for them to have a response that maybe isn't necessarily law enforcement only, it's also community, like we currently have our behavioral health response team. So that's an example of when someone calls 911 and they have a mental health crises. We have a co-responder unit that goes out. So you'll have a Greensboro Police Department, a specially trained officer, and then you'll have a BHART or behavioral health response team clinician responding as well.
Really sort of tailoring this to specifics rather than just a blanket 911.
Correct.
That's neat. I mean, how is this, I guess you just answered it, but why is this such a great asset for people?
Well, this is a great asset for people because I think for too long, our public safety entities, especially law enforcement, have kind of stood in the gap with societal issues. You know, they've had to deal with all types of things because when people call 911, we expect a law enforcement response. And so they've been asked to deal with so many things that really are beyond the scope of law enforcement.
We had the police chief on not long ago, and how are the police sort of working? Are they working with you hand in hand? Are they buying into this or what?
Absolutely. A big part of this office is our collaboration and partnership with Greensboro Police Department.
What are some of your long-term goals?
Long-term goals for us are going to be to continue to enhance public safety in our city, to create innovative ways where we can continue to partner with the Greensboro Police Department to enhance just what we do and to bring more community voice to our public safety and give everyone an opportunity to be responsible for community safety in the city of Greensboro.
How can folks support what you're doing or get behind it? Any particular way they can be more aware of it and participate?
Sure. So we have several initiatives that are going on in our office now related to enhancing community voice. We've got our Be Heart team. We have our violence prevention initiative, that's GSO on Purpose. They can participate in that. And then we also have our law enforcement assisted diversion program. So if people want to get behind this, I think the best way is to tell people that we have this office, because Greensboro is truly unique in this. We are the only city that I know of in the country that does the Office of Community Safety in the manner in which we do. I think it's something that we should be proud of.
And you come by this work in community safety honestly, because I found out before we started doing the show that both your parents involved in that field, right?
Yes. Both of my parents are retired law enforcement. I have a stepbrother who is retired law enforcement, and I cut my teeth in juvenile justice and probation and juvenile detention.
So I appreciate what you're doing, and I know your parents are proud of you, and thanks for everything.
Thank you for having me.
Up on screen, greensboro-nc.gov is the general website for the city, and Letitia's just doing a great job in her office of making us safer, and we appreciate that. We'll be right back after this.
What are you waiting for? Your future awaits at Guilford Technical Community College. Make amazing happen.
My mother passed away on a Monday night. My dad and I were with her. What would have been a dreadful experience at home was a blessing at the Woltz Hospice Home in Dobson. Mama was safe and comfortable. So were we. We were even able to bring our dog Gracie for a visit. From their in-home care to their hospice homes to helping us after she was gone. The people at Mountain Valley Hospice made us better people and became family.
Every cookie sold in the Girl Scout Cookie Program helps girls learn lifelong lessons in people skills, decision making, money management, goal setting, and business ethics. It's amazing how much you can learn from a cookie. The Girl Scout Cookie Program. Think outside the box.
A brighter energy future starts today, and we're ready. We're leading the clean energy transition, cutting carbon emissions even while improving reliability, adding more renewables like solar and wind, all while managing our costs to help keep energy affordable for everyone. We're Duke Energy, and we're building a smarter energy future for you.
Back now on our special salute to the city of Greensboro and all the great organizations and agencies and folks that work behind the scenes to help improve quality of life in the city. We've talked about some great things during this show and programs and initiatives. Of course, how do you sustain those kind of things? And we have someone who knows all about that. Our special guest is Sridhar Stunt. She's Chief Sustainability Officer for the city of Greensboro. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks so
How would
much.
you describe and define sustainability as it applies to the city of Greensboro?
I would describe it as a city, a mid-sized city that is growing. It's grown a lot, especially since I left the city in 2015. So coming back and really trying to connect dots, because there's definitely a lot of sustainability already happening, pointing to planning and how we're looking at, preserving, our resources and thinking about the future.
Right. We also want to make sure everybody's on the same page. I guess my question would be, how is municipal government transforming to align with the sustainability goals that you're setting for the community?
We're having stakeholder engagement. outreach, transforming policies, ordinances are being created, all towards looking at the resources that we're providing and the city of Greensboro being that light as to the resources we can provide our residents.
And you only started up, what, in 2022, right?
Correct.
So I guess this is, maybe it's not a fair question, but are you seeing that you're making some progress?
We are definitely making progress. In December of 2022, the Strategic Energy Plan was adopted by our City Council. That was huge because now we're in full implementation mode of how we can show that we're reducing our carbon footprint, how we're showing that we're doing more public engagement, getting more, out in the community and showing the community how to do the same thing.
Now, are you partnering with any groups or organizations or businesses to get your mission accomplished?
Yes. I'm developing a lot of friends in the community, the universities of Greensboro, colleges. We're doing a lot of collaborations. Students are very involved and are really, we have a school that's focused on sustainable agriculture. And there are students who want to become farmers,
Wow.
So there's a lot of collaborations.
That's sort of a shift, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So
now,
that goes back to how are we changing that mindset, looking at sustainability and how we can preserve and have, that fulfillment in looking at the future.
Not to be negative, but any roadblocks or obstacles that are thrown up in your way of trying to make these initiatives work?
I would say transforming mindset is huge, and so we want to make sure that everything comes from that equitable, distribution, so that no one is left out. Everyone is getting the same information, so more educational programming, outreach is definitely dire.
And what you're doing touches everybody. I talked about at the beginning of the segment, sustaining excellence and sustaining improvement, but everything we talk about in this show, it's sort of wrapped around and involves what you're doing too, doesn't it?
Exactly, and that's what makes the Office of Sustainability and Resilience really key, because we're collaborating with our internal departments, trying to connecting the dots, bringing everything so that sustainability is then saw in a different light. Everything kind of forms together.
What's coming up in the coming year and beyond? What's on your mind?
More programming. We recently just did a pilot program partnering with a third party out of Moxville, a farm, to do composting. So how, when cooking your meal, how can you recycle your food scraps, so that it can then be returned to the earth.
You don't want me to cook in the compost, do you?
No. No cooking in the compost.
Make sure we cleared that one up.
We ran a pilot to see how we can get more engagement in that, so it's changing the mindset of our everyday living.
Absolutely.
To be more sustainable.
Yeah, people to think that way, and so it's good for now and for in the future too. I just think that's great. Up on screen, I want to put this up again, greensboro-nc.gov for general information, and I hope you'll come back sometime and just keep me up to date on what's going on with your initiatives.
Absolutely.
I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
And before we close out, special thanks to Carla Banks and her team for helping to produce this special program, because there are a lot of folks who work so hard behind the scenes every day in the city of Greensboro to make things better for all of us, and we do appreciate it. For all of us here at Triad Today, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next time.